Here we are, another Extra Bases with Bristol and Booth. We are on a schedule, back on a schedule. It's some kind of schedule. I don't know what schedule it is, Jeremy, but now this is 2 weeks in a row, and this is the way it should be. This is the way it should be. This is the way it always was. This is the way we planned it. And now, when it matters the most, we are together again 2 weeks in a row.
We always find ourselves...
Just say it. Just say this. I couldn't have said it better myself.
I couldn't said it better myself. I didn't say it. You said it. And I think it was great. I mean, I look at it and I go, this time of year, we always find our way, back in the same realm. And so this is pretty good. This is an interesting run, interesting run.
Speaking of familiarity, the Astros and the American League West, Houston is back on top following a 3-game sweep of the Rangers at Dyken Park. The Astros now 84-69, pulling ahead of the Seattle Mariners. Of course, that team had won 10 straight before losing a Wednesday night in Kansas City. The Mariners are 83-69, a half game back, and the Rangers fall to 79-74. I have to be honest. Well, I'm always honest. Jeremy, I cannot believe that the Astros were able to do this at Dyken Park without Framber Valdez, without Hunter Brown, and without Josh Hader, and they were still able to sweep the Rangers. It's, I don't know how they're doing it. I still don't know how they're doing it. Oh, yeah, without their best hitter in Yordan Alvarez. What did you see when you watched the game Wednesday night?
I saw the same thing Wednesday night I saw Tuesday night, and then I've seen all two many times in the course of the last year, or maybe two, is that I don't think that Joe Espada knows how to use Yordan Alvarez.
Wait. This is where we're going to start.
Let me say it. Because he does such a great job with the team and the lineup and how he puts things together without Yordan present. Okay. That's why I say that. I don't think Joe Espada is a bad manager. I think I've watched Joe Espada continue to grow up a little bit as a manager. I think it's got to be obvious to every Astros media member. It's got to be obvious to every Astros fan. And I'm quite certain it's obvious in that clubhouse, even though the team's not going to go to Joe and say that because they're going to respect what he wants to do. At least you would think not. But when Yordan Alvarez hits second, they're not a very good team. They're a very good offensive team. It's a lot of pitching on a lot of stress on the pitching staff. And so tonight I saw a continuation of that trend when he's not able to play. They play well, they swing the bats, they move the lineup, they score runs. I saw that last night. I saw it tonight. It's unfortunate that they're in this situation. It's not fun at all. These injuries have a way to, especially ankles, have a way to linger, when it comes to Yordan. But if you're asking what I saw tonight, I saw more of the same of a team playing very well without their best hitter because the manager doesn't know how to, or somebody doesn't know how to use that best hitter and not hit him second.
Should we go back to our previous show?
Something tells me that might be a good idea.
All right, let's rewind, and here it is.
Move Alvarez down behind him the 3 spot. Leave Correa where it's at and let it rock.
Yep.
You're not doing it. You're sitting there going, he's got to hit second because the numbers say I know he's your best hitter. He's got to hit second. He's got to get to the plate the most times. Okay, well, who on base? Because he's not, he doesn't, the man should not set foot on the dirt or the grass between the bats. He should not go out and patrol a position unless he absolutely has to because of what it does to his body. And we're sitting there talking about this guy like he's got to go steal bases, hit doubles, and score on singles. What are we actually doing right now?
Jeremy, as you are leaning back in your chair, you said this man should not step foot in the dirt or the grass between at bats. And sure enough, a freak injury or incident or accident that Yordan gets hurt running the bases. That's not what you meant, right? That's not what you meant.
No, what I really meant was what I said behind that is that we're treating this guy like he's got to score from second on a single instead of just going station to station and playing the game, letting his body recover. And sure enough, the man tries to score a run in a situation as a two-hitter, which the argument would be made if he wasn't hitting second, he's not on base at that time, and we don't have to worry about that situation. And he's hurt. I don't understand how many ways the baseball gods can say to you, don't hit this guy second. And they're still doing it. It's like, do they need a Zeus lightning bolt? Do they need Abner Doubleday to come back, who didn't invent the game anyway, to come back and say, hey, don't do this? Do they need an extra commandment? Should be an extra commandment? Thou shalt not hit Alvarez second. I don't know what we're doing here, and I'm only poking fun at it because yelling at it didn't work, pleading with it didn't work, silence didn't work, and at some point you got to kind of laugh and go, y'all just ain't gonna. You're just gonna stick to it, aren't you? You're just gonna go ahead and keep rolling it out there no matter what it costs you. What's that definition of insanity again? Trying the same thing again and again, expecting a different outcome. When Alvarez hits second, you're not very good. Let's move on. I don't get it. So that's what I saw, and I say that because it's a consistent trend now. We have an entire year. Last year we tried this, and somebody I know in this conversation whose name is not Jeremy Booth pointed out the stats, the very basic stats about wins and losses, and then we go into this year and they do so well. They do so well with wire to wire with a cast of non-stars. Now they got everybody back. They got almost everybody back. Myers is back. Still not a fan, but Myers is back. You got Correa now here. You got Pena at the top of the order.
Paredes may be coming back this weekend. Isaac Paredes.
Right. You've got
and that's Walker who they put in the number 2 hole.
You got Walker. You got Diaz. You've got your guys, man. You've got what you want. You got Sanchez playing well. You've done everything you can. And he's playing well enough to fill in. And without Alvarez in the 2 spot, he's good enough to perform where he's asked to perform. What is the problem? I don't understand what it takes. Does it take, and this is not sadly, this is no longer a joke. Does it take an act of Congress to go ahead and put him in the 2 spot? I don't know what to say here, because you got to get Alvarez in a position to produce runs, protect his legs, protect his body, produce runs. Unfortunately, they're a better team without him right now. As blasphemous that is to say for baseball and for the Astros, they're a better team without him because Joe uses personnel better. That's what I saw.
Isaac Paredes had an OPS of 777 batting second. I don't have the wins and losses, though, but they were clearly a better offensive team, partly because Isaac sees a lot of pitches.
Which would be the job of a 2-hitter, or the job of a 2-hitter is to be dangerous, be able to use his legs, to be able to hit the ball over the ballpark and take extra bases. Not somebody who's going to, and steal bases, not somebody who's going to, who's a big man, who's a run producer, who has a lower half that's, let's call it aged. Is that fair? An aged body, an aged lower half that plays older than his years because of his injury history, and has spent a lot of time on the DL. You want to let Alvarez be a DH. You know where the Red Sox hit David Ortiz? It wasn't second. You know where the Blue Jays hit Carlos Delgado? It wasn't second. You know where the Dodgers and the Mets and the Marlins for 5 seconds. You know where they hit Mike Piazza? Here's a hint. It wasn't second. So you go throughout the lineups of all their big bruisers and bangers, and they're not hitting second. This guy isn't George Springer, and he's not Correa. Shoot, hit Correa 2 if you have to. Move him in the 2 spot. That's not a good idea either, but it's a better idea than Alvarez second. Move him there, but you don't want to do that. Okay, fine. If you use your personnel right, you got a chance to do this thing. If you don't, keep Alvarez out of the lineup as long as possible to go ahead and run through the Mariners. Because, by the way, the Mariners are still in Kansas City. Is that correct for the day?
Yep.
Is that where they are? You watch. They're going to come in here Friday tied for 4 games. It's going to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and the Mariners and the Astros are going to be tied at the top of the division. You watch.
I'm amazed at the number of people who still believe that Yordan batting second is the best place for him. I've heard it various places. I don't want to point any fingers or because everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But again, these guys are not machines. That's the problem. These are not, this is not like put a guy into a video game and then he'll perform. They're just not. And especially with the Astros lineup the way it is and the way it flows or doesn't flow, it flows better when Yordan Alvarez is batting third, and the numbers back it up. They've backed it up. It's probably over 100 games, I would say. I don't think it's certainly not over a full season because of Yordan's injuries, but
Well,
it has flowed better. And I know Alex Bregman's not here anymore, but you know.
yeah, you know what though? It counts as two full seasons because the Astros have played two full seasons. And when they put him back in the two spot in the number two spot in the
Well, I
order,
was saying the number of games,
no,
obviously.
I totally get it. And I'm saying I understand that argument, but I'm on my side of it. I look at two seasons now where when he's been on the field, they put him in the two spot and they haven't won. How much more do you need to figure out? What type of sample size are we talking about? If you look at any type of sample size and you have 30 to 40 games, that's more than enough. These guys are well over 100 as it is. And they put the two seasons together, because last year it was Tucker as well, right? It was Tucker in the two spot as well.
And
That
that didn't
counts.
go well either.
That's right. That counts. So you're still talking about 334 games. That's just talking about 162 times two, plus a playoff game, which you lost.
Playoff games.
Whatever. They still lost. As far as I'm concerned, one game, 9 games, you didn't win it. Lost.
Well, I'm pulling up David Ortiz because that's your comp. That was one of your comps when Yordan first came up, and you can see that on my X page, which still to this day has that as the header.
I want to thank Peter Gammons for making that quote popular
Yeah.
after it was said.
But
Thank
you
you,
look
Pete.
at where David Ortiz hit, and granted, I know it was a bit of a different lineup, but David Ortiz bats third, fourth for most of his career, and 960 games, he drove in 776 runs. That's a better rate than Yordan is at in the number 2 hole. 566 runs driven in 732 games. That's, I would think, I don't have the calculator in front of me, at a better rate. Carlos Delgado batted fourth. 1,112 runs driven in 1,300 games. That's almost one a game, which
Listen,
is
man,
better than the rate than Yordan.
if you're winning games with Alvarez in the two spot, I'm not going to say anything to you. I may not agree with it, but you're winning games. Neither is working out.
No.
Okay. Even when he performs well, he's not doing what he should do for your club. And on top of that, you're still not winning.
Putting him in the 2 hole is supposed to raise all boats, and it doesn't. It's been proven it doesn't. But again, this is their prerogative, and they're the analysts and this is the way they want to play their game. That's fine.
How did Alvarez get hurt again? Was it trying to score on a base hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
he could have done that he could have done that batting third too, Jeremy.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, he could have done it. Was it likely that he would have done that?
Well, are you saying that someone behind him would probably have better chance of hitting the ball over the fence, or would he like? I don't know.
I'm
Or
saying
just driving in 2 runs and standing at first base or second,
I'm saying that
which isn't painted or has that slick surface.
I'm saying the situation changes if he's not a guy that has to score in that spot. The two hitter traditionally is a guy that has to score runs, move the ball, and
Table setter.
well, and be able to run a little bit. And
Yeah.
Alvarez does none of those things, right? He's a run producer. So,
In traditional,
yeah,
traditional.
but they're not winning that way, not doing it traditionally. So the simplest way to judge a club is wins and losses. I'll give you an example. I once had somebody who's a big numbers guy, not in baseball, well, in baseball, but this wasn't a baseball conversation. I said, look, this works. What we're doing works. And he said, how do you know? We don't have the data to justify it, right? And he was right. We didn't have the hard objective data. We didn't have enough of it yet in what we were trying to measure to justify it. I said, it works because we're winning. I'm not going to give you the category we were winning in, okay? 'Cause it's irrelevant, but we were winning. And again, this was not a baseball conversation, it was a business conversation. And so it could have been anything. We could have been winning in a customer sentiment. We could have been winning in player development, any number of things that we do, but we were far and away better with the way that I instinctively knew we were going by the results of the bottom line, let's say, of the bottom line metric we were trying to get to, rather than all the
Supplemental.
supplemental, thank you, metrics on the way there, right? And what my boy was saying, my guy was saying, is that we needed to have the supplemental metrics to quantify. He was right. We did. However, we didn't have time for that. And the Astros now have all the supplemental metrics to say that in today's modern analytical game lineup, that Alvarez should be the guy to hit second in a perfect analytical world. In the Astros world, it doesn't freaking work. Hit him in a 3 spot, hit him in the 4 spot, but just don't hit him in the 2 spot. Okay? It doesn't work. Move him to a spot where he can produce runs, save his body, stop trying to ask him to do things he can't do because you're trying to do this like it's baseball stars. All right? And baseball stars, for those of you that don't know what that is, that's a video game we all grew up with way back in the day on Nintendo, and it was this completely made up thing where people would win games 25 to 24, and it was like, it was a phenomenal boop, baseball stars type deal. And it's not baseball stars, okay? You can hit 900 home runs in baseball stars. You can't do that in Major League Baseball. That's all I'm saying.
I'm sure the Astros would love to have 9-run home runs or whatever you just said. It's interesting when you look at the run differential when it comes to the division leaders. It's shocking. It's shocking where the Astros stand when it comes to run differential among the top teams in each division in Major League Baseball. Or it's not shocking, Jeremy. I'm guessing you won't be shocked.
Probably not. Where do they stand?
Let's start with the NL East. The Phillies, plus 129. The Brewers, plus 187.
That's pretty good.
The Dodgers, plus 117. Over in the American League, the Toronto Blue Jays, plus 87. The Detroit Tigers, plus 89. The second place Yankees, by the way, are plus 128, but we know because they hit so many home runs. The West leading Houston Astros are plus 27.
Wait, just
plus 27.
I'm sorry. That's really interesting fact. We're going to come back to that. Can you just go back to where the Yankees are? What place they're in?
They're in second place, plus 128.
128. And
they're 4 games back. They have 2 games up in the wild card.
Okay.
They've scored 794 runs.
Just so my thinking is clear.
Which I believe may be the best in all of baseball.
Uh-huh. Okay. So once again, my thinking is clear. Okay. This is
I think I know where you're going with this.
That the regular season, they turn around and they score a ton of runs, hit a bunch of home runs, and they are sitting here titleless in second place. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to draw that. The Astros, on the other hand, the other side of the
ledger,
the divisions, right, are 101 runs behind in that column, behind the Yankees, and they're in first place with a 4A lineup playing baseball and scoring runs and winning the close games, which is what you have to do. When you have that little of a run differential, you have to win the close games. And I don't have the exact stat in front of me, but you're telling me you've only scored 27 more runs than you've given up. You're winning close games. That's what's going on. And you're doing it with 4A guys, which makes a lot of sense. So what is the problem when you get your guy back? What's the issue? Hit him in the 3 spot, let those other guys produce, and keep everybody moving and comfortable. The entire team is revolting against you. That's what's going on.
Yankees have 85 wins. Astros have 84. You have an MVP candidate. Now, you could argue that the Astros pitching staff is better. Yankees have allowed 666 runs, the Astros 625.
See, I don't think that's much of an argument. I think the
The
Astros
Astros
pitch staff's
against
pretty good.
is this right? Let me see. Record against teams above 500, they're 46 and 40. The Yankees are 46 and 46.
I don't know what to say here. You know, you're talking about Astros winning close games, and we're talking about the Astros pitching staff being better, although they've been hurt. They are. You know, McCullers back on the IL, isn't he?
It sounds like he will not be pitching the remainder of the season.
That's too bad. And he came back just again, just so
As a relief pitcher.
my thinking is clear. Yeah, but that's not how he came back to start, right?
Correct.
He began his comeback as a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Which means that to complete the definition of a starting pitcher.
He has right hand soreness, lands on the IL. I almost said International League IL. That is the 12-year-old Jason Bristol growing up in upstate New York with the International League and the Syracuse Chiefs and the Pawtucket Red Sox and the Maine Guides and the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Red Barons. Sorry,
Aren't they?
I went off to a side there, a tangent, but Lance McCullers' right hand soreness lands on the IL for the fourth time in 2025.
And he came back. Right hand's the one he throws with, right? Just double checking.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And
Yes.
he came back as a starting pitcher, which
Correct.
means that in vernacular, to get my definitions correct, when the game began, it was his job to throw the first pitch for his team and start the game. Is that correct? And he wasn't an opener. It was multiple innings upon multiple innings, right? And then he like had a hangnail, right? Stubbed a toe, slammed a finger in a car door. I don't know, whatever he did. And then he's got legitimate injury again. At what point do we start realizing it isn't working to put him in the rotation? I know they put him back in the pen. I get it. Damage is done. When's Lance McCullers going to pitch again? Does he pitch before his contract runs out?
I think my guess is they will have him recover and be healthy for spring training. I don't have any advanced knowledge, but my guess is that they will want him to get ready and be healthy for spring training.
And what leads you to believe he'll be healthy for spring training? That's okay. Don't answer that. That's me.
Now, Dana Brown said there's a chance, this is according to The Athletic, there's a chance that this is the last time we've seen of him. Is it possible he could get back for the last couple of games? That's probably a outside chance, but highly unlikely. I don't have your picture. I don't have your video up on that one, but
that's all right.
Jeremy was leaning back in his chair.
Does the Astros medical staff have a vote in this?
I can't say either way.
Okay. Because if they have a vote in this, he's out till 2029.
Well, that would be a problem because he's not signed through that amount of time.
Well, it's the same impact on the team if he's under contract or not.
Well, I hope that's not the case for Lance's.
Me too. Me too. But this all could have been avoided with the dude going to the bullpen about 5 years ago.
You don't think the up and down, pitching an inning here, pitching 2 days in a row, you don't think that would have the same or worse effect on him?
I don't, because he throws with so much intent that even if he pitches on a Monday, let's say, he doesn't throw again till Thursday, right? Depending on his workload. I don't think back-to-back days help him. I think you have to manage something like that. But I do think that him in the bullpen for an inning or two here and there, every third day, every other day, something like that, with a couple of days of rest with other guys in the pen helps. You can manage guys like that and make them effective. You know, John Smoltz did that too, right? He was a starter, got hurt, went to the bullpen. It was probably a Hall of Famer both ways. So I think Lance McCullers could have been one of the best closers in baseball for quite some time. Instead, he's this era's version of Rich Harden. That's what he is.
And that's a shame.
Well, it is. It's a
It's a
shame, and
shame.
I don't like the fact that I was right about that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy being right as much as the next guy, but sometimes you don't. Well, more than the next guy. But I don't want to be right about this. This isn't what I want to be right about. I wanted him to hold up and embrace that role. And all I kept hearing was Lance wants to start. Lance wants to start. So you let Lance start. Okay, great. Then you don't get much out of him. And I also heard that Yordan doesn't want to hit second. You don't want to hit second. Doesn't want to hit second. But you pushed his butt into the second two spot too. I don't understand these guys sometimes. If you're gonna listen to one player, why not listen to the other? Especially when one guy's on the field every day and has more impact. I don't get it. I wish them both a recovery. Lance for sometime in 2026, and Yordan hopefully has drops his this is an awful pun, puts his foot down and says, "Hey, I want to hit third in the lineup and let that be it." He's got to put his foot down.
Let's do something. Let's tease ahead to the next. You are cracking yourself up. Let's tease ahead to the next extra bases. I want people in the comments to leave, if you're watching on YouTube, leave an answer to this question. How many pitchers that you know of were very good in the 7th and 8th inning, but had trouble once they transitioned to being a closer? So, Jeremy, that'll be our homework for next time. Hopefully some people below will answer that question for us to help us to provide some examples that maybe we've missed. Also, really quickly before we go, Jeremy, based on your experience as a catcher being so close to home plate, right? The catcher can see the field, you're close to home plate. I don't know how many games you played professionally as a catcher. I could look it up, but I don't think it matters for this. How many instances did you see a guy touch home and then turn his ankle because he landed on it and he just lost his footing and the result was a sprained ankle like that? I mean, did that ever happen to you when you were catching in the Can-Am League, the Frontier League, the Mexican League?
Never played the Frontier League.
You didn't play in the Frontier League,
no.
Sorry.
But I will say this:
the American Association, the Northwoods League, the Northwest League, the Alaska League, the California Collegiate League. All right, I know you didn't play in all those.
That's all right. Ricky Vaughn played in the California Penal League. I'll roll with it.
That's true.
So,
have you ever seen that though?
I saw it one time, and it wasn't even quite like that, and it certainly wasn't as a player. What I would say is my entire career in any level of organizational spring training or international baseball or independent ball or whatever, or scouting, coach, doesn't matter. I've seen that one time, and it wasn't even the same way. It was Kendrys Morales. Kendrys Morales got hurt in a celebration home plate, and it changed the game forever because people stopped doing that, right?
What an amazing hitter that guy was.
That's right. And we had him in Seattle after that, and he wasn't the same guy. But no, I have not seen that any other time. But we've talked about Yordan's.
Would you have slid if you were running? Would you have slid into home?
Yeah, I would have. And the thing is that there's other guys out there who have ankle injuries that are similar to this, and again, chronic ankle injuries. Anthony Rendon is somebody who got hurt in college multiple times, to the point where teams took him off the board medically. Right, he still went, I think, 5th to the Nationals.
Wait, 5 teams took him off the board medically? Come on,
they took him. No, I'm not kidding. They took him off the board.
I've never heard that before.
That's because no one's supposed to tell you. Medical staffs took him off the board.
Wow.
Yeah, Anthony. So in the 2011 draft, and I know this is a tangent, but you guys that like baseball history, who are watching and listening, you'll like this one. Okay, 2011 draft is a draft for the ages. It is literally for the ages, and I'll run down the first 15 picks, 16 picks from memory because I can do that without ever really batting an eye. Maybe
I just saw this the other day about how good of a draft. It was on maybe Instagram or something. So.
All right, well, pull it up and let's see how far I get.
All right, we only have a few minutes remaining.
I understand. So. Just let's see how far I get here. So I'm making a point about Rendon and the ankle injuries and what happens. Morales is the first.
I feel like we've done this before, but humor us. Do it again.
Let's do it again. All right, Garrett Cole.
Yep.
Danny Hultzen.
Yep.
Trevor Bauer.
Yep.
Dylan Bundy.
Yep.
And then this is where I get confused. Bubba Starling,
Yep.
Anthony Rendon,
Yep.
Archie Bradley,
Yep.
Francisco Lindor,
Yep.
Javier Baez,
Yep.
Corey Spangenberg,
Yep.
George Springer,
Yep.
Taylor Youngman,
Yep.
Brandon Nimmo,
Yep.
Jose Fernandez,
Yep.
Jed Bradley,
Yep.
Chris Reed.
Yep.
Um,
Now we're up to pick 17.
I want to say, well, I'll work backwards. 19 was Barnes. No, 19 was
Yep. Yep.
19 was Barnes. 21 was Beatty.
No. So 19 was Barnes. 20. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you didn't give us 20.
I'm trying to fill in the gaps here because this is where it gets fuzzy.
I will
21,
say this 17, 18, 19, and 20 all.
CJ Crone,
Yep.
17. Um,
Guy you liked.
Sonny Gray, 18.
Yep.
Uh,
You had
19,
Barnes. You had Barnes at 19.
They had Beatty at 20 or 21. Who was 20? Oh man, it was
Has bounced around.
I don't remember who 20 was, but
Lefty.
that's left-hander.
Oregon. Tyler Anderson.
Okay. So let's just stop right there. That's 21 picks, and it was still a deeper.
You got
draft
20 out of 21.
Yeah, let's stop there. Okay. Rendon was likely not one, but he was very, very close to being two.
Sure.
Right. I mean, and
we know this because anyways.
I may or may not have known the Seattle guys.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. And so, but beyond that, I know that all the teams in the draft who are picking ahead of where he actually went with the Nationals had extreme interest in this guy. How could you not? I mean, even still, with what has happened to his career, he was a top 6 pick, and he had a really good run until the injuries caught up with him again. So what happened, right? So I say that to say this: his ankle was an issue in college, and it pushed him down the board with obviously at least 5 teams in some capacity. Doesn't mean those guys didn't get who they wanted, but I think a very clear argument can be made that Colas turned out to be the true number 1 from that draft. Holton never really made it. Bauer had a run. Yeah. Bundy was a bust. Starling was a bust. But so Rendon's probably the next guy, right? And Rendon got hurt, but he was probably the next guy. Starling was a bust without question, and so was Holton. Okay, the argument on Bauer is Bauer, but if I'm going to pick that over, I'm putting Rendon too, and I feel pretty comfortable saying the teams that picked between 1 and 5 or 1 and 6 felt very good about Rendon as a player. All right. All of that to say the ankle injuries sometimes affect everything else. And so you don't know what's going to happen with Alvarez with his legs and how all that stuff's been done. He's had knee problems, he's had back problems, he's had hamstring problems, and now he's got ankle problems.
Hand problems.
The imaging, we didn't need any of that. But as far as the ankle's concerned, I'm not sure what that's going to do to him. I haven't seen a play like that other than the ones we referenced. And I know the ankle history is a tough one to come back from because the stress it puts on your body. It's bone. It's bone and ligaments. And the minute that stuff is gone, that's a problem.
Quickly, top WAR, baseball reference WAR from the 2011 first round. Top WAR goes to...
Well, it's going to be Cole or Springer.
Francisco Lindor.
That's a good one.
54.4. Cole, 43.2.
Where's
Springer, 41.6.
Yeah, so
Trevor Story, who was I believe a supplemental pick. Yeah.
He was a comp pick that year.
Yeah. 35.1. Then Rendon at 34.2. And then Sonny Gray, Baez, Nimmo, Blake Snell, who did not sign, I believe, right?
I think he signed.
Did he?
It was a high school pick.
Oh, that was a compensation pick. My bad. Yeah. I just saw an asterisk there. So sometimes when they have an asterisk, does not sign, depending on what you're looking at.
That's one of the best drafts of all time. But if you go back to what you talked about, Rendon's missed what now? 5 years with injuries? Basically his entire Anaheim contract, right? And he signed it there in 20. Does that sound right? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24? Because his last year was the World Series in 19.
He's played 52 games in 20, 58 games in 21, 47 games in 22, 43 games in 23, 57 games in 24, and 0 games in 25.
Okay, so he's missed 5 years of time, and he's still at a 34,
Yeah,
a WAR
such a
of
shame.
34. Right.
Such a
So
shame.
so again,
When Anthony
redrafting.
Rendon was right, oh,
Right. So the point of the ankle injury is redrafting all of that. Lindor having what he's had, he still fits it too. Rendon fits it too because if he's healthy, he passes all those guys,
yeah.
all of them when it comes to WAR. And so I say that to say this: you don't know how it's going to affect the rest of his body, and someone that's had ankle injuries or leg injuries like Alvarez has had, this isn't a good sign. He's going to have to really rehab and build it. And I hope that the Astros understand that they're starting to get to a point of messing with his career. Hit him down the line and take the stress off his legs. Hit him 3 to 4. Hit him third is my guess, but hit him 3 or 4 and let him produce runs and stop having to steal bases all the time.
And on that note, everybody, thank you for watching. I thought this was a good late night extra bases.
Yeah, I agree.
I thought this was good. As I mentioned, all of you out there, you have homework. If you could help us, let us know. Is there a pitcher that excelled in the 7th, 8th innings that tried pitching the 9th? The team moved them into that closer role, and it just didn't go well. So let us know what you think, and that's going to wrap it up for Extra Bases. Yes, that will wrap it up for Extra Bases. For Jeremy, I'm Jason. As always, thanks for watching. Until next time,